Hello and welcome to the IOL Sport.
IOL Sports Show.
What is it? IOL Sports Show. No?
Or is it podcast? What do we call it?
Podcast. IOL Sports Show is Zahir's thing.
Okay,
So
podcast.
this IOL podcast. Okay. Are we going to speak about our honorable sports minister, Gayton McKenzie? The man has made more promises than Father Christmas over the last. Sorry. Look forward to the week that will be. Right. Hello. Did I say that properly? Sorry. Let me start.
Yeah, you got it.
Fight Dricus du Plessis for the middleweight title, and if you're sitting really far back, I don't know how you're going to tell the difference between Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis. Even though I think there's quite a height difference, you won't be able to tell when they're this small.
Hello and welcome to the IOL Sports Podcast with me, John Goliath, and I am joined by Michael Sherman in Joburg, Lunga, Biyela in Cape Town, and Mthobisi, Nozulela in Durban, as we look forward to the weekend sports action. Guys, it's quite a quiet weekend really on the sports front. Besides Bafana Bafana, it's the international break. And then we have the Proteas Women in action at the World Cup. But I think the big focus for now for us is Friday night at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium, one of my favorite stadiums in the country. It's absolutely amazing, Lunga, that they are taking Bafana to the people for a change.
It's good to see that they're not just playing the games in Durban and Joburg like they always do, and it's encouraging to see, and hopefully they'll get a big crowd tomorrow.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of drama this week as far as Bafana is concerned. The preparations hasn't quite been as smooth as Hugo Bruce probably wanted. There was some action off the field with Jaden Adams. Mthobisi, he was sent home for apparent disciplinary infringements there. How do you think that will affect Bafana going into the weekend for the match against the Congo?
Hugo Bruce stepping his authority quite early. I felt it was the right decision. In a game like this, two important games, upcoming qualifiers, we want to make sure that we have a squad that is able to take instructions, to understand exactly where we need to go as a team. And for me, Hugo Bruce has done a great job to ensure that sends a message to other players as well, that they understand exactly what needs to be done to keep the discipline in the side. But looking at Hugo Bruce and what he's been able to achieve with the side, yes, there has been this issue, but I think he will be able to. The team will be able to move past this. I think that most of the team has been around for quite some time. It's kept the team very consistent, and of course we've got leaders as well in the side. We've got Temba Zwane, Teboho Mokoena, Ronan Williams. I'm sure they will be able to ensure that they set the troops in the right way, going through these important qualifiers. But I think again, it just goes to discipline. For me, Hugo Bruce. It is always going to be very important that he sends a message very early. Even the new players coming in, so they understand that there needs to be a culture within the team. And then for me, a very good decision. I don't think that it will affect the team too much heading into these two games against Congo Brazzaville.
And Michael, I mean, to have Ronwen Williams back, it must be massive for Hugo Bruce. He missed the last two games in the qualifiers where Veli Motwa was in goal, and a couple of mistakes they led to Bafana dropping points, especially against Uganda. But now with Ronwen Williams back, and also the sort of the added motivation of the Yasin Award at the Ballon d'Or, that's beckoning for him as well. So it's great to have your captain back in and probably your best player.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just aside from what he brings to the team in terms of his experience, just having someone you can depend on right at the back at playing keeper for you, it's just such a confidence booster for a team like Bafana. And who can forget what he did at AFCON with all those saves in the penalty shootouts? It's just tactically, he's a great player. How he releases the ball, gets the attacks going from the back, but just the mental side and what he brings to the Bafana team, that's massive for them.
That calmness, exactly. Yeah, I think is another blow though for Bafana was Talente Mbata, who has been ruled out with injury. He has been a super sub, sort of a, if I can call it that, a bomb squad member for Bafana the last two matches with these late goals. But Lunga, who do you see sort of other players stepping up in that midfield? I think that's going to be a key battle for Bafana home and away over the next week.
I think this week would have been the perfect opportunity for young Jaden to make a name for himself in the Bafana team. But what happened, and he misses out. So now other players will have to miss out. Will have to step up. With Pepelos Tole also missing through injury, it's going to be those midfielders in the team are going to have to just step up and just fill that gap. Yeah.
Who are some of the players to watch for you? I mean, we've the MTN8 was last weekend, and we saw two of the brightest young stars in the country, in Mofokeng and also Saleng, doing the business for Pirates. Are they, for you, key players going to this match? I think they will be targeting goals in this match, Bafana, before going away, targeting a big win against the Congo in PE.
I think the one player that will have a big point to prove is Tebogo Mokoena. He hasn't featured much for Sundowns, and he'll want to prove to the coach that he can still get the job done. He's the one.
But it's a big talking point. That why is one of your best players not playing? I mean, Tebogo Mokoena wasn't he player of the season last year behind Ronwin Williams, or just a phenomenal player? Yeah. Also, what he did at AFCON, and now he's out in the cold.
I think it's just internal politics at Sundowns. I think I remember Mangoba last week saying that he prefers Rivaldo Couture in that number 6 position. And he raved about Rivaldo Couture's awareness in midfield and his ability with the ball. So it looks like Tebogo Mokoena is probably not going to feature much for Sundowns. And I mean he might get dropped for the next time. Sundowns have just 3 games between this international break and the next one. So if he can't if he can't fight his way back into the Sundowns first team, he might see himself dropped by Hugo Bruce. So, I mean, this weekend will be, a very big opportunity for him just to show everyone that, he's still that player that, that shone at AFCON earlier this year.
And another quality player in Mthobisi is Percy Tau, who I think it was announced this week that he's going to leave Al Ahly at the end of the season, strongly linked to Kaizer Chiefs. He's 30 years old now. Hugo Bruce, it seems like once you turn 30, he kind of ignores you. What do you think in terms of Percy Tau? Do you think he can still add value to Bafana? Does he still have a future?
With Percy Tau, it's always something. I think, and it's not the first time that he's missing out on the side because of personal reasons. Even before he was dropped, I think there was an instance where he missed out because of personal reasons, right? So for me, I think, yes, it does have a role to play on the side. Experienced players, won the CAF Champions League, has played in the Premier League. It's just one of those players that have a say in the dressing room. Definitely has a role to play. But of course, you look at, in terms of his form, um, one would say that it has not been as great. If you look at it, he's competing with Swinopolis, for example, who's somebody who's taking his chance in the national team. It will be very difficult for him to just, if he's coming back, to just walk straight into the starting lineup. You look at Swinopolis, I mean, it's just, taking his chance and ran with it. You look at the games against Zimbabwe, that pass that he did to Tapela Morena as well. So Pesitao, yes, he can still be in the side, but very difficult for him to find his way back into the starting lineup from what I said right now.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, it's we're almost basically in the final stretch towards Christmas, and there's been one guy that's been promising a lot of presents to sports fans in the country, our Honorable Sports Minister, Gayton McKenzie. I think, first of all, there was some big news this week about the F1 returning to South Africa. That is something that he is looking to try and seal the deal. He a couple of months ago, he went to one of the races overseas. I think, I don't know, was it Monaco or where it was, Azerbaijan maybe. But Michael, do you see this happening anytime soon, an F1 race in South Africa?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's difficult to say, but the only real place that it could be held is at Kyalami. And I think Kyalami does have to undergo significant upgrades if it's going to host it. But, with Gayton, he says he's very willing to splash out the cash and, bring the funding to a possible venue like Kyalami. So if anybody can actually sway it and put that money in and, have the meetings with the bigwigs in wherever it is, if it's Dubai, if it's Monaco, wherever, he's going to attend those meetings. And you'd have to think that he will have some say in it, and he might have a decent chance. But, it was talked about, a couple of years ago already now, that it would be coming back to South Africa, and nothing happened in the end. So, the big thing about Gayton is people say he's a lot of talk, and what has he actually done so far? Bringing the F1 back to South Africa will be definitely something that if he's able to achieve it, and that's what he'll be judged on.
Yeah, there was talk about the street race in Cape Town. I know Formula E was here. That was also a street race around the stadium and sort of in Sea Point around there. And then Gayton also spoke about building a new track in Cape Town, sort of in the northern side, for Santa Cruz side, where that new airport will also be built. So it looks like things are happening. But yeah, I think it would be lovely to have a Grand Prix in South Africa. Lewis Hamilton, I think, deserves. As we probably, besides Antarctica, I think we're the only continent where he's not won a race, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he deserves to come here and finish off his career, hopefully with a win. He'll have a lot of support here. Don't doubt that for a second. And then other motorsports, spinning. That is something we've come used to now, in terms of the first 100 days of Gayton McKenzie's 10 years sports minister. He also spoke on the weekend. There was the Red Bull show in Joburg, and then there was also a show in Cape Town where the guys competed, and that was actually his spinning show. VSC Honse Baas, one of the greatest names for any competition, never mind spinning. And he said some things there that they will be launching a new sponsorship soon where guys will actually be able to make a living out of spinning. I think that's quite incredible, Lunga. to think that something that was outlawed could now be a proper sport in South Africa?
Yeah, I mean, it would be great for all those, who what we term as amateur drivers in a way, to be able to, be able to make a living. So, if Gayton can deliver on that, it would be just great for that community. I mean, the one thing that I'm happy that Gayton has done. He promised to bring the All Blacks, the All Blacks test to SABC. The first one against the Ellis Park one, and that was broadcast on SABC. So it gives him it's sort of like a track record that he does have a track record. So if he can bring money to spinning in South Africa, it's a passion for a lot of people. They flock to race courses, race tracks around the country. It's sometimes it might be it's a bit dangerous, but if he can sort of bring that money in, that funding in, it would give it that extra element of safety, they'd be able to have extra, security guards, maybe extra railings to protect fans, to protect the drivers. So I think that's a good thing for spinning as a whole.
And then there's obviously the other big sporting event that he's trying to get to South Africa, and that is, of course, the UFC, where Dricus du Plessis may be able to defend his title in South Africa. There's been rumors that Cape Town Stadium could be a venue. There were rumors about, or the Cape Town City Council was talking about building a roof or temporary roof. Now Gayton has come out and said that Soccer City F&B Stadium could be the place that would also need a roof. What do you guys think, Michael? Is it Cape Town or Joburg?
Sure. It's anybody's guess. That's what I'm going with. But he just answered a question to somebody asking on Twitter. They just watched the Dana White interview, the UFC boss, and he didn't. If you watch his interview, he didn't sound very enthusiastic about having it in South Africa. And that's because of the fact that we don't have indoor venues that are big enough or good enough to host a UFC event. So it would have to be a temporary structure, you would think. And so now Gayton said that, they might be looking at FMB Stadium and putting up a temporary structure there. And then you've got Cape Town Stadium. I don't know what the numbers are, but I think there might be more fans in Cape Town. It might be better to actually just have it in Cape Town, because regardless of where it's held in South Africa, it's going to be a sellout, because UFC is actually surprisingly big in the country. So sure, if it were up to me, I would actually, even though I'm up here in Joburg, I would say maybe Cape Town's the better option. Have it at the Cape Town Stadium, put the temporary roof. Don't know how many million they're saying that's going to cost, but maybe just keep it in Cape Town.
Yeah, I think altitude may be a factor, man. Like when we play the All Blacks at Ellis Park, let's have the fight at altitude. I think it could be a difference. I think it could be held at both venues, either or. I think both are great venues. I think you'll get more people at Soccer City, obviously, the FNB Stadium, 80, 90,000 people compared to Cape Town, which would be about 50,000 people. But I think both venues would work. I would love to see Dricus du Plessis defend his title in South Africa, though. I think we are due a big UFC fight here.
But would you be able to see anything if you're sitting in, say, the nosebleed seats up at the top, or would they have a big screen just showing everyone? That's my biggest worry about.
They should probably have screens around the stadium.
Mm.
I don't know. I know Cape Town Stadium has got wonderful big screens for the rugby. So, and I think I haven't been to F&B Stadium in a long time. So I think they would have big screens. I think people would go for the vibes and just to say I was there, because it would be a first for Africa. So, and we are in the social generation, obviously, Owens, where we're gonna take selfies and what.
Similar with that Rafael Nadal Federer match in Cape Town.
There was a guy who said, "Tonight I'm breathing in the same air as Roger Federer when he was here in Cape Town." So it is a similar thing.
I would agree with Lunga, though. You know, like if it's supposed to be Sean Strickland that's going to fight Dricus du Plessis for the middleweight title, and you know, if you're sitting really far back, I don't know how you're going to tell the difference between Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis, even though I think there's quite a height difference. You won't be able to tell when they're this small, you know.
Yeah, but see, but it would have been lovely. So the Coca-Cola Dome in Joburg would be too small as well.
I mean, Grand West has held a number of
These
WWE events and EFC fights as well. So I mean, that could be you know, an option.
But it seems like they are expecting like thousands of people. I mean, I think Grand West probably takes about 15 to 20 at most, not even that, maybe. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, but there's a lot of hype around Dricus du Plessis and the fights to come, definitely.
Or it could be Newlands' last hurrah. Take it to Newlands.
Yes, he is. We'll first have to maybe get some Q20 for all the creeks. Yeah. Right, guys, and we are going to end off the show with our Proteas Women's cricket team, who have been on fire at the Cricket World Cup in the United Arab Emirates, the T20 Cricket World Cup. They've won 2, they've lost 1, but now they are playing against Bangladesh on Saturday, which could see them go through to the semi-finals. Michael, has been a polished performance against the Scots after disappointing performance against England. I would say I thought they were a bit hesitant, especially with a bat. Maybe not taking advantage of the sort of the platform they had. But yeah, it's a big one for them on Saturday. They should beat Bangladesh.
Yeah, no, you would think that they would be too strong for Bangladesh. They've also, you know, they've won, I think it's 3 of their last 4 meetings against Bangladesh. And you'd think that the Proteas Women are really one of the top 4 teams. So with a win, you know, they're going to go through to the semi-finals. And so you know what, somebody like Laura Wolfart, who is good against Scotland, and Tasman Brits, you know, those 2 at the top opening the innings, they can really get us off to a flying start, like they did against Scotland. So if they fire, it's going to be difficult for Bangladesh. But going back to the England game, you know, it was a bit of a different story. I think Laura Wolfart was the only one who got close to a 50. I think she got a 40 odd. There were scores down the order, but you know, they just never got going. And putting a score up of I think it was 124 against England was never going to be enough. The bowlers did a pretty good, put in a pretty decent effort against England in their chase. You know, they only won in the last over. But you got to feel that, you know, in that match, it was always looking like that England were in control and they never looked in doubt. But yeah, back to Bangladesh, we're going to be too strong for them. And you think they'd get a pretty comprehensive win and they're going to book their spot in the semi-final. So there shouldn't be any hiccups, you would think.
Mthobisi, Laura Wolfhard is, she's now got the most T20 runs for the Proteas a women's team. And do you think they are too reliant on her at the moment, or do you see the likes of Tasman Brits? She's also been in decent form. That these guys or these girls, are coming to the party.
Yeah, I think for some time, I think Laura has been one of our has been the best bets for the Proteas Women. Looking back at the last World Cup as well, she was one of our top run getters. For now, I would say that she's still the pillar of that betting lineup. If she gets out early and then it doesn't really kick on, sometimes it does become a problem for the team. But hopefully, the other guys can come in as well to ensure that we because I feel like if she settles in and then bets deep, we could really take the game away from Bangladesh. I think Michael has got a spot on there. It should be able to be too strong for them, but I have to say it's been good to see the bowlers as well coming into the fore. Performing exceptionally well. Look at Mlaba as well. What she's been able to do here. So yeah, look, definitely I think we will progress to the semi-finals, but I think it's just a matter of the top six really kicking on as a collective instead of just two individuals or three or four. Just for us, just to make sure that we just get work as a collective, and then we should progress.
Yeah, I think that you mentioned Laba. I think the bowling has been probably their biggest asset at the moment. They're missing Shabnam Ismail, who I think could have maybe made this World Cup. I don't know. She could have been persuaded. I mean, they lack a bit of pace for me. But other than that, there's a lot of skill and swing, and the spinners coming to the party. I still think that we can get more out of the all-rounders, maybe in terms of both with the bat and ball. Chloe Tryon, I think she is due something special. She's been threatening. She bowled well the other day with a left-arm spin, but I think for South Africa maybe to up the ante and get quick runs, she will have to sort of come to the party. She's the one batter that can clear the boundary regularly. So I think if she comes to the party, I think, anything can happen in the playoff. I mean, it's knockout cricket. They've showed it before the last World Cup where they beat England in the semi-finals. So there's no reason why they can't go deep. Guys, thank you very much from us at IOL Sports. I hope you enjoyed this podcast and enjoy this weekend sport. We look forward to seeing Bafana Bafana in action while the Betway Premiership and the Premier League is on the international break. See you guys next week.
Thanks.
How was your weekend?
No, it's fantastic. And I guess from a local perspective, that MTN 8 final was quite something. Heading for extra time. You're just getting ready for another half an hour of football. And then a very contentious referee decision that it decided the title. And yeah, it's been the hot topic of debate ever since. It's difficult to see past that referee call.
Michael.